When you're starving, we're sleeping behind a dry cleaner in downtown LA. We moved from the East Coast, went out to the West Coast where there was a big scene for original music. Because what you learned early on, and this will all lead to publishing, is that in a cover band, you can make a living at it, and if it's what you want to do locally, it's fantastic. In other words, it's a great life. You go out, and you may not make a living, but you can be a weekend warrior. There is no sin in that. You're having fun, and you work your job hard and go have fun on the weekends. For me, I wanted to make a career in music, and I have a really quick learning curve and a lot of street savvy, right? So I go to LA, we're starving, and the person that I bet on, you have to bet on something, I bet on myself. And so when we would get offered, we have no money, we would get offered these publishing deals. They would hear songs like Every Rose or Talk Dirty to Me that have sold 7, 8, 10 million copies of these singles. And people are like, hey, we'll give you, now remember, this is a starving musician. I'm starving, and they offer you and they say, we're going to give you $100,000 and we'll own your publishing. And you're going, I didn't even know what $100,000 was then. I'm like, that's a lot of money. But then I bet on myself, and I said, no, I want to be in control of my career. I want to be in control of my music, where it goes, what it sounds like, for better or for worse. You know what I mean? And that's what I did. I held on to my publishing.
How did you know to do that?
You don't know. What you know is this. When you start reading some of the contracts, you start to realize real quick that these people had full access to your music. They could sell it to anyone they wanted to. They could do anything with it. So we formed a partnership with then Zomba Music, which is now Universal. And you form a 10% administration deal. You know what I mean? You go in there and you say, we want to be in charge of our catalog. I want to be in charge of what I write, when I write, how I write, who I sell the songs to, movies that it goes to, but they're also an unbelievably great company. And what I want to say, anything in life, there is very few times in your life when you solely own everything. You have to have other great partners and people around you. So instead of giving away 100% of it for very little money, I kept 90% of it and give away a little piece of it, and then they take a commission for movies and soundtracks and stuff that it goes into, and it's at 32 million records later hasn't been an awful, it was a good endeavor.